it's my day 30 of the 100-day challenge, and I'm back in Chicago after being for a month in France. And this weekend I was in Toronto, as you know. I just came back and met Deepak Chopra. The fun, relaxing, grounded leader. He's amazing. It was really awesome to meet him. He did about 3-4 speeches throughout the weekend in different places with different audiences. He was doing one, the first speech was at my client's house where I was staying in Toronto. They organized a fundraiser, and they were the one that brought Deepak Chopra to Toronto and organized all this. So I got to meet Deepak, thank him, welcome him, and he's a very grounded, relaxed person. It feels so good to be in his presence. You could feel his peace within. He spoke a lot about, instead of doing a war for peace, being the peace ourselves, being peaceful, because it starts with us.
Well, when Dr. Dubé came to me a while ago and spoke about creating this wall of peace, my first reaction was that even though at that moment I was writing a book on peace, my first reaction was we've never had peace through the entire history of our civilization. There's never been peace in the world. Right now there are 35 wars going on in the world. And if you look at any history, it's the history of war. If you remember history lessons in school, that's all you learned, dates of war. So is it foolish for us to think that such a thing is even possible? Foolish for us.
And then we went to the Hindu Museum, and where there was a wall of peace was a different bustes of people that are representing peace, and those are in marble. For now there's only 2 that have been made, but there's more to come. There is Gandhi, there is Buddha, there is Martin Luther King, there is Nelson Mandela, and other people that have contributed and have made an amazing difference. A bunch of amazing people and leaders of Toronto that were there to support him and to donate some of their money to make this happen, as it is the first wall of peace of that kind in North America and even in the world. So I was bumping all the time in Deepak for I was not doing it on purpose, but I was trying to capture the picture, whatever, and then anyway. But it was just so, it was just like, he's definitely a normal person, very accessible. He really got us in touch with our soul, which was amazing. I was literally in tears when he made us do this exercise to listen to who was listening, and we just all felt it, we all felt in touch with our soul, and it really was one of those moments where you're like, wow, there's so much. I felt like some frustration at the same time, because you feel you're moved and touched by all this love and wisdom and energy that is inside of you, and then you're like, but how do I break this through? How do I contribute in a massive way to the world? And he answered that question the next day in his other speech at the Canadian Club, which was happening at the Toronto, one of the most beautiful hotels in Toronto. And he spoke there to maybe at least 300 people. There was big leaders of the country there also, and also the next generation that will be leading, and he was telling us a lot about his personal story. He was very funny, and he was really intimate with all of us, and sharing his life and how he grew up and how he started in India, and also very beautiful. He was explaining how at 6-7 years old his mom, actually there was the prime minister that was coming in the street in India. It was just after Gandhi, And so this was the first time, you know, there was real freedom in India. And so everybody welcomed the leader. It was outside. Millions of people were outdoors. And his mom wanted to wear this special sarong, you know, what the Indian wear. And his dad just said to her, Mom, you know, well, he's not going to notice you. Will be millions of people there in the street. And she said, oh, yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. Sorry. And fair enough, there's millions of people on his car, the prime minister car, just stop in front of his mom and throw the roses to her. And she just put it up, and everybody was cheering. And for the next few days, actually 10 days, it was just people coming in their house and respectfully taking off their shoes and going around the rose and looking at it, not saying a word. And 10 days later, when the rose was fading, you know, each petal was coming out, and his mom gave one petal to all of her friends, and they put that in those rose petals in a book, and then passed it probably to next generation. And Deepak was, you know, couldn't really understand much at that time, but he surely saw his mom as the leader of the house, having created that intention and having made it happen. And then the beautiful thing is that, you know, of course, this rose represents the freedom of the country, and it's very symbolic. It's not just, you know, that she was receiving the rose, but also she was sharing that with other people. And just this wonderful gift and symbol for the freedom of their country. Anyway, later on, Deepak became a doctor, and doctor, he came to the United States in New York, and he practiced for the first time his skills. And he was describing the first years of his when he was operating in the ER rooms, how he was just waiting for bigger and bigger case, like of people, because he just wanted to practice his skills. And he was not really taking care at all about the soul and the spirit portion of those bodies. You know, he didn't care about the past and what happened to them and everything. And it's after that he decided to look more into that and to learn about everything that was happening before, after, and during. And so, you know, no coincidences, medicine lead him to do the work that he's doing now, and teaching a lot to Western people about Eastern philosophies. He's an amazing man. His latest book is Buddha. I have the book somewhere, Buddha, the Enlightenment Story, which is the beautiful story of Buddha. And so I encourage you to read that, because it's a beautiful leadership story. And he told us to lead with our souls, to choose with our souls, to lead with our hearts, and everything will be clear, you know. So it's not so much an intellectual work that we have to do, but it's really about tuning in. So meditating, visualizing, co-creating is so aligned with what he's up to, and I look forward having the opportunity to meet him, staying